So first I want to say thank you to Goldie for hosting this amazing FedTalks event and for having us all here again this year. At Hewlett Packard Enterprise, our enterprise services team focuses on delivering high value-added solutions to our government clients, helping them to achieve their business mission and policy outcomes while transforming their organizations to meet the challenges of today as well as tomorrow. One of the things that we continue to see is that government IT has increased demands from literally employees, from constituents, and from CIOs. At the end of the day, what tends to happen is literally you have to move from text to tweets, from basically health information records to financial records, legal documents, to weather tracking apps, all in a moment's notice. What citizens are demanding is greater transparency as well as speed. We expect to have information at our fingertips, where we need it, no matter what. On top of that, many of us are facing challenges, the challenges of literally having to take aging, brittle IT infrastructures and either maintain them, which is difficult sometimes to do. We can't replace them, and oftentimes we wonder whether or not the service levels that we're delivering are actually meeting our end user demands. Couple that with the fact that as this convergence of demands continues, one of the things that we're challenged with as IT companies is how do we make sure that government and industry are partnering to bring the best outcomes? How do you make sure that your workforce is actually able to scale and deliver on the business challenges that we face today, tomorrow, next week, or even next year? The answer is the right technology, whether it be in the form of mobility or cloud or analytics or application solutions. The right technology can help you literally connect information to business users and key stakeholders. So what do? Do you go down to the local mall and pick up a box of cloud, a package of mobility, or a dozen apps? I don't think so. You and I both know it doesn't work that way. Literally transforming an organization successfully requires strategic thinking. It requires that you have engagement from your key stakeholders. And it requires that you engage or involve the complete workforce. They have to buy in, otherwise change won't happen. In addition to that, you have to incorporate the cultural dynamics. That means making sure that everyone in the organization understands the mission and they are making the transformation an enterprise-wide movement, both pushing and pulling in order to make that change happen. But here's the good news. The good news is you don't have to go it alone. More and more government clients are looking to their industry partners to help them solve today's business challenges, to help them move from aging, brittle IT infrastructure to more modern IT, what we call the new style of IT. It could be, again, in the form of cloud. It could be in the form of literally mobility. It could be in the form of security, transforming to a hybrid, agile infrastructure, making sure that we're protecting the digital enterprise. Also, empowering a data-driven organization with better analytics, or enabling workplace productivity. And these are just a few. One of the things I think is so important is that industry and government work together. Today, what I'd like to do is ask Captain Don Harder to join me on stage to share some of his innovative approaches with us. Don? Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you. So first, if you could just share a little bit about yourself with the audience.
Certainly. Yes, I've been in the Navy for 27 years. The last 10 of the 12 years have been involved in program management, acquisition of IT capabilities, including cybersecurity capabilities. Most recently, I've been at PEO EIS as a deputy there for just a little over 2 months. Still getting used to a little bit more of the business side of the IT world, and it's been quite an interesting endeavor. I've had the pleasure, though, of being able to work with Mr. Victor Gavin, who absolutely is a visionary when it comes to some of the things that you were just talking about, such as how do we work with industry and ensure that we have a method moving forward to incorporate the lessons learned from industry in how government procures IT. So looking as we continue to move forward, Mr. Gavin moving on to another position as DAS and C4I, I'm helping to help transition some of his legacy programs and processes that he has had in place to ensure that the next PEO that comes on in continues forward in that direction.
Awesome, awesome. I've heard a lot about the Innovation Cell. Can you tell us what that is and what the benefits are?
Certainly. I hope everybody is familiar with the Innovation Cell. It's an attempt within PEO EIS, and it goes back to one of those visionary programs that Mr. Gavin set forth. But it goes back to PEO EIS's attempt to do what you were talking about earlier, and that is how do we go about the process of procuring IT systems, capabilities, how do we fulfill our requirements and needs in a different, more dynamic way that gets us to speed to market. Always the buzzword, right? So the objective behind Innovation Cell is to have a team that works both with the program offices and with industry to help ensure that we have the requirements defined properly, that we identify the capability needs properly. The Innovation Cell works with the program offices to help determine what some of those additional gaps are, and then works with industry to take a look at what mature capabilities are out there that can help provide solutions for us. We do this in terms of enterprise challenges. We submit enterprise challenges out to industry. There's an opportunity there for the folks who are much more knowledgeable about this than some of us are to provide some feedback for us on how we've written our requirements, how we've defined our needs, help change the enterprise challenge to a more appropriate process that sets ourselves up for success. We then take the solutions, the ideas from industry, we vet them, we assess them in coordination with the program office, and take a look at options that are available, and then we turn those over back to the program office to make a determination as whether or not to acquire.
Awesome. So it's been about 2 years. Tell us how that's going and maybe highlight one of the key successes.
Sure thing. I'd say that we started off, we just finished up our first year, really, and we had 3 enterprise challenges that were put forth last year, 2 of which made it to contract, one of which I know you're very familiar with, Enhanced Virtual Desktop. We also have another one, that optical networking, which is done outside of the NMCI contract. And those 2 actually made it the speed to market, less than 1 year from the definition of the need to actual implementation of the mature technologies that are available today. That's a great success. I think one of the other items that we have really learned is how to work better with industry. The Innovation Cell team has over 800 points of contact now within industry that we are in coordination with on a regular basis. That way they have a good understanding of what still needs to be done, and it's been very helpful. We have some challenges still. We need to figure out how to budget properly. The budgeting cycle in DoD is a little bit difficult when you're trying to get from need to delivery within 1 year, but we're working through those.
Well, I wanted to just thank you for joining me here on stage today, and thank you. Keep up the great work.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.